But you got to wipe that off really quick. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have discipline, you're running in place. You're going to be starting over and over and over and over again till you get so frustrated that you give up. At some point, when are you going to say enough is enough? Welcome back to Straight to the Point with Moses. Glad to have you here. Really excited about the second video. I didn't think I was going to do it, but a couple of close friends of mine told me, go ahead and do it. My cousin told me to step up and do it. So I wanted to share this gift with the world. In our first video, we talked about something really important, and that's the decision. The decision of being able to, put your life ahead of you and make those important decisions that really impact you long term. I really thought long and hard about what the second video really needed to be about. And, talking to my cousins, shout out to Darnique and shout out to my wife for doing all the edits. She's the graphic designer. She does everything. Once I get everything recorded, she does it. So shout out to her. But I really wanted to talk about something I thought that would really propel this whole movement forward when it comes to the power of making that decision. And that next step would be, and when you really think about it, I really want you to put some thought into this. That's the discipline piece of it. What do we do once we make a decision, right? What has to happen once we make a decision? We have to have discipline to follow through. And it's funny is, and maybe those who are watching out there can answer this question. Why do we spend so much time being disciplined? And why are we so disciplined doing the things that we have to do versus being disciplined on the things that we want to do? I want you to really think about that, right? Think about that, the power of what I'm saying. We are more disciplined with the things that we have to do in terms of going to work, getting up every morning, picking our kids up, cooking dinner, cooking breakfast, going to church, having those things that we do day in and day out, that we have to be disciplined to do those things. And in most cases, we do those things without even thinking about it. So the big question I have for you is, and it's real simple, why are we more disciplined in doing the things that we have to do versus doing the things that we want to do? Now, some of you may be saying, well, what are you talking about? What do you mean, what do I want to do? Well, it could be, you might want to start your own business. You might want to lead a church. You might want to write a book. You might want to, travel and do philanthropy. You might want to speak to 1,000 people that you've never spoken to before about something that you feel deep in your heart. Something that you want to do, but A, you don't have the courage, possibly. B, you haven't put a plan together. C, you've done all of that, but you haven't put the discipline in place to be consistent to see the results that you want to receive. So let's think about that. When we get up in the morning and we prepare for our day, most times we're doing things that we don't even think about. It happens. We go to work, we come home, we eat dinner, we talk to our kids, we go to bed, and we do the same thing over and over again. And it becomes a 40, 50, 60-year cycle, and then we retire. But the question is, did you do what you want to do? And if discipline was the only thing that separated the two, then you got to take a real deep look into your life and ask yourself, why is it that I'm disciplined to do the things that I have to do, and I couldn't give myself an ounce of discipline to do the things that I want to do? So I'm really excited to talk to you about this. I wanted to get that out because I wanted my audience to really understand what this conversation is really going to be delved around. And it's really about the power of discipline and, putting that plan in place and having that plan that you have each and every day and having the discipline. Now, what is discipline? Many of you might have different meanings or different ideas or different thoughts about what discipline is. But to me, discipline is just the simplicity of doing something on a consistent basis, right? Without having someone tell you to do it, somebody looking over your shoulder, somebody saying, hey, you know you got to do this, and knowing why you're doing it for the greater cause of what you want to accomplish in life. So to me, again, discipline is having that power, having that courage, that strength, and that understanding that no matter what goes on, each and every day, I've got to do this to do what I want to do to reach my goals. Whether that's starting a new business, whether that's, owning a home, whether that's losing weight, working out, being more healthier, whatever it is, you will not be able to get to that end goal without having discipline. As simple as it sounds, as basic as it sounds, it's something that we all at some point fall short in. It's funny because, and a lot of you will probably relate to this, you probably got a lot of friends that you've had over the years that you may see from time to time. And have you noticed when you see those friends, some of those friends are still doing the same thing they did 15 years ago, but you notice that they have not progressed, or they've changed different avenues of different things they want to accomplish a million times without even reaching one goal that they said they wanted to accomplish? Start one thing, stop one thing, start one thing, stop one thing. What do you think was missing? You got it. Discipline, right? Because we can come up with goals, we can come up with ideas, we can say, I want to do this, I want to do that. But at the end of the day, once you put that plan in place, if you don't have the power of discipline to follow through with the things that you want to accomplish, it's wasted energy. And, I'm going to pause here real quick. For those who think that you will come to this channel and you'll get gossip, you'll get the next latest and greatest thing you hear in entertainment world, you can probably just shut and go to another channel. I'm here not to give you guys empty calories. I'm here to give you food for thought, something that you can take with you back to your families, back to your life, and grow and become better and prosper. So my channel is all about growth, empowerment. It's really all about giving you guys some wholesome food that you can take in your spirit, deep in your soul, and take back and grow. So don't expect anything else but that positivity and how we move forward. And discipline is a big part of it. Because, people will tell you, you can't do this, or this won't work, or I've already tried it, don't worry about it. And there's different things that will get in the way of disrupting that discipline. One thing you got to be careful of is when you set your plan and you put your mind to something, no one and nothing can stop you unless you allow them to. And when you allow people to tell you what you can't do, remember, they're only telling you what they can't do, and they want to put their fears and their doubts and their misfortunes on you. Don't allow people to do that. And that's allowing people to have power over your life, the things you want to accomplish, and the discipline that is required to be successful. I want to tell you guys about a story. It really struck me deep. This is about a Chinese nationalist. His name is Xia Boyu, and he was a mountaineer. He is a mountaineer, and he wanted to climb Mount Everest. His goal was to climb Mount Everest, right? And those of you know Mount Everest, that's no small feat. That's when you think about Mount Everest being the highest mountain in the entire world. A lot of work has to go into being able to do something that great. Long story short, Xia Boyu, Chinese nationalist, he set out to scale Mount Everest. That was his goal. That was his dream. That's what he wanted to accomplish. Unfortunately, in 1975, he had a friend that was out scaling with him, and his friend needed help. So he lent him his sleeping bag, and as a result, he caught frostbite in his feet, which caused him to lose both of his feet. And eventually he had to amputate his legs right beneath his knees. So he was a double amputee. He was a double amputee. And, you know, this was something that hurt him deeply. And one thing that did not change mentally was his goal. Even though he was a double amputee, he said, I'm not going to stop at thinking to myself, well, I don't have any legs, I can't set out my goal. He could have made a million excuses in the world, but he didn't. Xia Boyu, from 1975 to 2014, built his body up to be stronger than any man out there, because he knew that his body needed to be a 30% increase of strength versus anybody else out there, because he had no legs. And he still had a goal to scale Mount Everest. So what he did was, each and every day, he worked on his health, he worked on his body, every single day. And when you think about the discipline, here we go back to discipline. We're talking about somebody with no legs. We're talking about somebody whose goal is to accomplish is to scale a mountain, not just a mountain, Mount Everest. Most people would look at this and be like, man, you lost your legs the first time, be done with it. Not Xia Boyu. He was disciplined, right? He made a decision. His decision was, I'm going to climb Mount Everest, right? He planned it. The plan didn't go according to the way he wanted to in the beginning. But because the plan changed, it didn't change his focus or his goal. As a matter of fact, it increased his discipline because he knew he had to put more into it to get where he needed to go. And that's why I want to pause right there, because I really want you guys to think about that. How many times in your life have you set out to do something and you set a goal for yourself and you set a plan, and something came in that road to change that plan, and then all of a sudden you shut down, you stop? Right? I think when you think about those situations, it's the inevitable. It's going to happen to all of us, right? But if you take that moment to say, well, you know what? This is a reason for me to stop planning or having that discipline to accomplish what I want to accomplish because X, Y, and Z happened. You didn't want to do it in the first place, right? So think about Xia Boyu losing his legs, having surgery, and now he's got prosthetic legs on, and he wants to climb the highest mountain in the world. What I'm about to tell you, I really want you to think about what I'm about to tell you. In 2014, there was another trial and tribulation that stopped him. There was an earthquake. Had to shut everything down. 2016, there was an avalanche. Had to shut everything down. It wasn't until 2018 that the stars were in alignment and Xia Boyu scaled that mountain. Now think about this. He started in 1975 with the goal to scale the mountain, right? Year over year over year over year. It wasn't until he was age 69 with no legs that he was able to scale that mountain. Now I want you to think about that. Wow. Think about that power. Think about that discipline that this man had to have to scale that mountain year over year with trials and tribulations coming against him. He could have easily given up easily. He could have gave up, but he didn't. So I want you to bring that back into your life and think about the things that you wanted to accomplish and who you let get in the way, or what situation you let change your goal or your focus. And ask yourself, was it worth it? Right? If you want to accomplish something and it's meaningful to you, it's something that you want to do versus something that you have to do, Discipline has to be a part of your curriculum. I don't know about you guys, but that story inspired me to think about somebody that has no legs, prosthetic legs, and he's scaling a mountain and he's running to obstacle over obstacle over obstacle. How many people would have given up by year one? Many would have. But what separated Xia Boyu from anybody else was that he had discipline. He wasn't going to let anyone or any situation or any circumstance change the fact that what he wanted to accomplish, and that was to scale that mountain. What I want all of you to think about when you leave and think about this message today is, think about the Xia Boyu effect. I want you to have Xia Boyu discipline when you think about planning your next plan and accomplishing your next goal. The moment you wake up and you say, I can't do this, I want you to think about Xia Boyu. The moment you say, this person said, I can't do this, I want you to think about Xia Boyu. The moment you get some type of financial situation in a way to think that will stop what you want to accomplish, think about Xia Boyu. Whatever it is you think that is getting in your way from keeping you from being disciplined, think about Xia Boyu. Because if Xia Boyu, a person with no legs, and let me be clear, when you have a prosthetic leg, and one of the things when I did my research on the story that he said that really opened my eyes, he said that even though he had prosthetic legs and he could walk on them, there was still no sensation like the sensation of having feet. Now think about that. When you're scaling a mountain, you can feel the bumps, the bruises. You can feel all the things that you're walking on, the pain, and you can grip differently. But when you have no feet, no legs, there's no sensation there. So all the strength is coming from your core body to be able to make those moves and adjust and get up that mountain. So he didn't let that stop him. But what he did do was continue to have the day after day after day discipline that he needed to be successful. Why do we get in our own way? You know, many of us, a lot of us are in situations where we're blessed with limbs and we have the things and we have resources, but we still, for some reason, find reasons to say why we can't do something. When you have a plan and you want that plan to change your life and impact your life, do not let anyone or anything stop you. And remember, discipline has to be at the core of what's important. You know, when I think about, a lot of these kids around this neighborhood and, what their next 10 to 15 years look like, right? Whether they want to be a lawyer, a doctor, or whether they want to be an entertainer, whether they want to be a preacher, whether they want to own their business, whatever it is, I would hope that our parents are guiding our kids to have discipline. Because it's so easy to get off track, right? Think about the person that wants to lose weight, including myself. Having those temptations out there. Everywhere you go, there's a fast food restaurant, there's a commercial, there's a party, there's a celebration, there's a family get together. But at the end of the day, those people don't have to go to the doctor with you to do that. So the thing you got to ask yourself is, why can't I have the discipline to do the things that are going to make me healthier, live longer, be prosperous, and accomplish the things and support the people I want to support that are around me? The only thing stopping you from being disciplined is you. And when you have influences and you have things around you that influence you in the opposite direction, you got to go back to that mental decision. That's the first video. And if you want to know more about that, go back to the first video. You got to go back to that mental decision and understand the whys of why you're doing what you're doing. That reminder is so important in that flow of decision making to make sure that you're staying consistent and keeping that discipline. And I understand things coming away and you make excuses for yourself. But you got to wipe that off really quick. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have discipline, you're running in place. You're going to be starting over and over and over and over again till you get so frustrated that you give up. At some point, when are you going to say enough is enough? When are you going to stop listening to other people and go back to your plan? Right? And follow through. The follow through is so key. Follow through what you set to accomplish and you will see success. But if you give yourself an excuse, if you take what other people who are telling you who are not successful, who have no plan, who have no discipline, you're going to start over and over again. And it's going to confuse the heck out of you, and you're going to wonder why you came here in the first place. Discipline is so important. It's got to be at the core of what you do. So if anything you guys can take from this video today, I really want you to take away what discipline means to you. I know what it means to me, right? And I could talk to you all day long about this, but I want you to go home and I want you to sit down and I want you to say to yourself, what does discipline mean to me and what do I have to do to incorporate it in my life? You know, some people say, well, I need motivation to continue to be disciplined. Fine. Your motivation can be your family. It can be your daughter. It can be your wife. It can be your spiritual life. It can be the life that you didn't live as a child that you wish you lived with your parents that you want to change. Whatever it is, find that core power or things that you want to accomplish or things that really get you fired up and keep it with you. I don't care if it's a picture or something you got to write down. Whatever it is you got to do it. Because best believe there are people doing it, and Xia Boyu is a prime example of someone who's doing it, who's did it, and did it with half the resources, no legs. So there's no excuse. At the end of the day, there's no excuse for you not getting to the goal and the things that you want to accomplish. Make a decision, plan, and be consistent each and every day through discipline.